There are many times in a conversation, whether it's with a coworker or it's with a friend, where I wish I could have said something differently or I wish I didn't say that particular thing. I wish I could have had, a do-over. I would replay the entire conversation in my head, over analyzing every statement, every word, even in which the tone I delivered my thoughts and ideas. I would think back and I would start, saying things like, "Oh, why did I say that? I wish I could have said something differently instead." Until recently, I decided to change my whole perspective on what this whole thing really even means. To properly illustrate this, the other day I had a conversation with a coworker, and after the conversation was finished, I kind of wish that the conversation went a little bit differently. I wish I had said something differently, came up with different thoughts and ideas, and even listened more intently. Almost like I had to perform in their eyes that I wasn't enough for this one person, that I had to bring my best self to the table, not really factoring in that there will be days where I don't feel my best, and that's okay. Days where I'm just not as clear, days where I can't properly articulate the words that I would like to, days where I'm just not feeling it, where coffee's not really doing its job. When I look back at this conversation that I had with my coworker, I just thought how awkward I must have came off, or even maybe it was just my perception of how awkward I was coming off. That I made up this entire scenario of how I felt like I didn't really fit in that moment. Then this thought just came into my mind. You know what? Why don't I just embrace this feeling? Just embrace your awkwardness. It's okay to be awkward. No one even really cares. Because the truth is, no one really cares about what you say and how you say it. Everyone is just really focused on doing their own thing. They're not really focused on what you're doing. They're not even really thinking about you in those moments, right? They're thinking about that promotion at work. They're thinking about what they're going to be eating for lunch that day or their kid's hockey game that they have to go to, later that evening, right? These are the things that people are, constantly worried about. They're not really focused too much on what you're doing. And the truth is, when you let go of these certain thoughts, your true self comes out. You become more authentic. You try to impress people less. It's okay to be awkward, man. We're all awkward at some point or another. It's showing to the world, and more importantly, it's showing to yourself that you are 100% okay with who you are and you wouldn't change for anybody else. And there's so many times where maybe it's just dealing with a person you just met, or maybe it's someone you've known for a long time, but we are in constant fear of messing up or even making a mistake when we're talking to people. Even that, that level of like a 3-second silence, we are just absolutely terrified of that. We don't know what to do. And to sit there in silence, looking at another human being, another person, waiting for their turn to speak, when there's the pause, there's the 3 seconds of silence. It's terrifying, man. It's scary. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It is scary. This surge of nervousness is flooded through your entire system, your entire being. And to be comfortable with that, that does take practice to truly overcome that feeling. I find this is actually quite normal amongst a lot of people I talk to. I feel like everybody goes through this, at least in some point of their life. I always felt like I was afraid of entering these social situations. I would keep my distance from afar. That way there was no excuse where I needed to talk to anybody. I could just keep my distance from afar and just stick to myself. I was afraid of what people might think of me, or I was even afraid of, would they think I would be lacking social skills? And when you think about it, does anybody truly know what they're doing? Probably not. And it may look that other people know what they're doing when they're really progressing throughout their careers, or they decide to move to another country with nothing lined up, don't know anybody. But the reality is, it's just a front, it's a cover up. And that's the truth. And what's more acceptable to me is confessing the fact that you don't know everything and that you're just like everybody else. I think for most people, that's more relatable. To be that one person who says he doesn't have life figured out yet, and maybe he never will. To be the guy that laughs at his own pain. To not be that suave, cool guy that all the ladies love, or to even not be that really smart tech guy that knows everything about tech. Whenever you try something new, like talking to a camera or starting a job for the first time, whatever the case is, it's always going to be a little awkward. Let's be honest here. That's the point. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It won't be easy, but that's where the growth happens, in the uncomfortable. I find whenever I meet someone for the first time, it's always just a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit awkward. I don't really know what to say. I don't know if I'm asking enough questions, asking the right questions, if I'm listening enough. It's just an entire mess. But I know I need to keep going because it's going to be beautiful on the other side. It could blossom into a great friendship. It's inevitable. You can't go through life without having any awkward situations. It's bound to happen eventually. And when it does happen, I want you to fully embrace it because people will love you for it. Well, thanks for watching this week's video. I really appreciate you stopping by. I hope this video served you well, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.